And we welcome in Mark Clattenburg, who deserves a right to reply. As Don Hutchinson says, you're biased, and you have been for your whole career. It's quite something, Mark, really, when you take a look at it with your Newcastle supporting ways. Is that the only reason why you felt that VAR got it right and obviously overturned that red card to Kieran Trippier?
I'm not sure what Don's talking about here, but you know what? It's one of them where actually on the pitch I thought, you know what, that's a red card. I didn't think anything because Kieran Trippier, it looks like he studs, hit the knee, it's high, it's malicious, it endangers the safety of the opponent, it's at speed, and it ticks the boxes on the pitch. However, what the VAR looks at, and cynical doesn't come into the laws of the game, cynical doesn't mean it's a red card. And what I do see from the replays, Kieran Trippier's leg is in front of Kevin De Bruyne's knee, and therefore it's more of a tripping action than the studs going to the knee. So that's why the VAR has overturned it. And I agree with it when I watched the replays. I thought, yes, it's cynical. Yes, he probably meant to trip him, but it doesn't tick all the boxes for a red card.
If Don or Stevie were here, Mark, they'd be saying, you can't go around kicking people.
Yeah, but that's what they're going to say. But you've got to follow the laws of the game. And the referees have criteria, you know, that they're looking at. There's got to be speed, intensity, violence into the tackle. This hasn't got no violence whatsoever. There's no brutality. It's just a tripping, a cynical trip. All Kieran Trippier wants to do is stop De Bruyne moving up the pitch, and it's one of them where everybody normally would accept the yellow card. However, the referee on the pitch, and I can understand it, because when I first watched it, I thought, this looks late, it looks rash on the knee, but it isn't, because the leg of Kieran Trippier is in front of De Bruyne, which means it's more of a tripping action.
De Bruyne probably helped him out as well. What if he'd stayed down and got stretchered off, say, Mark? How would that affect things?
Yeah, but you know what? When you see fellow professionals now, they're all friends, they've all got relationships. And you could see actually Trippier, if you actually look at the lip service, he's going, Kevin, I didn't do this. And you can see De Bruyne going, you know what, you didn't. So you know what, there's players, they're trying to protect each other. But at the end of the day, that's got nothing to do with how referees are refereeing the match. It was only when VAR's got the chance to see it. And I believe this is where VAR was at its best, because we criticise it. And if the referee had gone yellow and the VAR had gone red, we would be criticising, saying, well, that's harsh. But I think in the right context, the right decision was made.
Back to my question, which you've avoided. What happens if De Bruyne gets stretchered off as a result of that exact challenge? That's got to affect a referee's mindset, hasn't it?
Yeah, but what you're then doing is you're talking about hindsight here, because De Bruyne didn't. The VAR had all the time. The referees have all the time.
Yes, what if he did? What if he did, Mark? I know what you're saying. But what if he did?
Hindsight. De Bruyne gets straight back up. So therefore, the incident is looked at. You can say, look, he's broke his leg. Yes. If there was a broken leg, then VAR would have probably said, you know what, we'll support the red card on the pitch.
Right.
If there was
it would have affected things.
So the timing of the challenge, the VAR looking at it, gives all the chance to see if there was any serious injury. There was no serious injury. De Bruyne got straight up. Therefore, it probably didn't tick all the boxes for a red card. And you know what? I didn't think there was any brutality in this challenge, but there was cynical, and cynical isn't a red card.
But after tripping him, if his leg fell off, then he would get a red card.
But if you're going to trip somebody, Dan, if you're going to trip somebody every week and then something happens afterwards and the player gets stretched off, we've only got to take into context the actual challenge itself. And when
yes, but you just said that if he was injured, then it would still be just a red card.
No, only if we always looked at, remember when the challenge, and we've looked at many challenges over the years where there was a genuine attempt to play the ball, but the player got the broken leg, and nobody accepts a broken leg in football. So they'll say the consequence of the challenge of the broken leg, will give a red card. But in this case, De Bruyne gets straight up. They've made the decision. The red card was made. The VAR's looked at all the evidence. The players got up. The challenge wasn't what the referee thought he'd seen on the pitch, and therefore he's overturned it. And I believe the right decision was made.
Going around in circles. Frank, yellow, you happy?
Yes, I'm happy. You know, I never thought I would be for once, you know, and especially on TV, agreeing with the referee. Yes, it's for me, it's just fair. because I totally agree with Mark. I know when we see the challenge, we see he goes with almost the outside of his right foot to trip De Bruyne, and never he tries to catch his knee. He tries to stop. It's what we call, Mark said it's cynical. We say that it's a tactical foul, to make sure that you stop the action. It's what we do in terms of football. But I totally agree. I think red would have been too much, except if De Bruyne would have been injured.
Just as a matter of interest.
Yes.
Has anybody ever been tripped and their leg fell off?
Many people.
That happens often?
Yeah.
That happens often?
Often happens,
Okay. I just wanted to clear. I was a little bit confused.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, Chef.
Yeah. Don't mock one-legged McMorning. Yellow.
Yellow, and a couple of things here. What Frank says, I think, is key. The position of the foot by Trippier, in that it's not the stud showing. If he's going like this, I think it's a red card. The fact that he's going more with the outside of his foot, enough for a yellow. But I agree with you, Dan.
Wow.
And this is what I would tell Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin, come on down to my diving camps. And let me tell you something. If somebody hits you on the knee as you're running away, and it looks like a lunging challenge that could potentially be a red card challenge, you stay on the ground.
Oh, but they're friends now. They're friends. Look,
Don't even roll around. Don't roll around. Don't roll around. Don't roll around. Did you hear that part, Frank? Do not roll around. Because if you're truly injured, you just stay down.
Right. Don't do the Neymar rolls.
No, don't do the rolls. That's too much. That's overselling. Let's not do that. Stay down and sell the call properly. This would have been a red card.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.